Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about nothing is unacceptable. We like deeming things, judging things as should not be, and resist and deny. And part of it is we think that something's going to happen if we resist it, but it doesn't work that way. I mean, if you think about it in a very simplistic way of, let's say you're walking along and trip and fall into a puddle. If you automatically go from the default attitude of resisting and denying, you might go, "Oh, great," and this emotion and reaction start arising of, "Oh, it's always me," what hell of a day it's going to be, yada yada yada. It just becomes this big thing because you are resisting and denying the fact that, yeah, an accident happened, you tripped and fell in a puddle. However, if you are radically accepting, if that's the attitude that you're living by, this radical acceptance of what is, as it's happening. You trip, fall in a puddle, it's like, yep, I tripped and fell in a puddle. What can I do about it now? You're actually much more objective and looking at your options. Instead of reacting, you're now kind of going, what can I do about it? And so you might just go, well, I'm just going to get up, brush myself off, and continue on. Or get up and, well, my house is nearby, I'm going to go back and change my clothes. Whatever. But you're just accepting what it is and moving on. You've seen what was, you're allowing it to be, you're acting and moving on. You're not holding on to it. But the person who's resisting and denying falling into the puddle, they may carry it the rest of the day, going, oh, can't believe how the day started, and yeah, I had to do this, and it screwed up my rest of the day, and I missed my meeting, and yeah, just on and on and on. And if they're really holding on to it, days may pass, and they're still holding on to this event, keeping it charged, keeping it reoccurring over and over and over again in the mind, and just clouding up life's experience because they're not allowing it to be. They're just not accepting of the situation. And various things in people's lives, they may not just carry it hours or days, years, decades even. They're holding on to things. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. That is not right. It should never have been. And they have yet to get up, brush themselves off, and move on. They're still reliving like they're sitting in this puddle decades later. And so it is I would say it's far more action oriented in terms of getting up, moving forward, and being objective if you just radically accept. It's this not accepting and rejecting that then we're holding on to things to try to push it away and keep it away. And as long as you're holding on to and pushing away things, it doesn't go away. What resists persists. It just keeps hanging on because you're holding on to it. And so you need to let it go. You need to allow it to be. You need to embrace it. Experience it fully, what happened. And then just allow it to go to the past. It's gone. Allow it to go. And so, radical acceptance doesn't mean that once you fall into the puddle, you're like, well, I'm in the puddle here. I can't do anything. I got, because I'm accepting, I can't do anything. And so I'm going to spend the rest of my life sitting here in this puddle. That's not acceptance. Why would you just keep sitting in the puddle the rest of your life? That isn't a proof of acceptance to just wallow in what is unchanging. That's not acceptance. Because acceptance is just seeing and allowing it to be, but then you can do something about it in the now. Like get up from the puddle, brush yourself off, continue on. So acceptance doesn't mean you're unable to act. And I think that's one of the things people really get stuck with acceptance, because they think that means you're not able to act, you're not able to improve things. That's not the case. The other thing is in radical acceptance, or not seeing anything as unacceptable, you're just seeing and allowing everything to be. And part of that is, made difficult because prior to Enlightenment, everything is taken so personally. It's kind of like if you watch two people arguing and one person calls another person a particularly nasty insult or something, you might go, oh, that wasn't, very nice. And you might, but it doesn't involve you. So, you're just kind of watching it and going, oh, well, it could have been done better or whatever. But it's different if you're having an argument with somebody and then somebody calls you a particularly nasty insult or something, and all this stuff flares up. It's like, how could you? And yeah, because you're taking it personally. And so it's far more objective, perhaps, to not take it all so personally. When you're just allowing things to be, you see it and allow it to be, but it's not personal. It just is. It's not about you. And so, in this seeing and allowing it to be, it's just the attitude after Enlightenment. Again, because I think things aren't personal, but also because there's the realization that it's all the self. In non-duality, there's no other. It's all self. And so it's kind of like if you take a rose. Every rose has its thorns. And so you might see this and go, oh, I love the flower blossom, and I don't accept the thorns. Does that really make sense? To go, I accept and embrace the flowers, I reject and deny the thorns. Well, is that really accepting the flower? No, that's just picking and choosing parts, saying this is good, this is bad, I'll accept this, I'll deny this, but it's all the same thing. It's all one thing. So why are you rejecting and why are you rejecting some and denying others? Rejecting, accepting. Why is there this difference? It's because we want to think it's two different things, which is the illusion. And after Enlightenment, there isn't this illusion of duality. This illusion of otherness has been shattered. And so it becomes far easier to radically accept what is, because it's just self. It's all self. But it's this constant, I would say, making things personal, judgment, resisting, denying. We create so much misery for ourselves through this. So investigate, look at the things that you truly find unacceptable. You're like, I cannot accept this. It is a very profound and perhaps you may find liberating thing to delve into it to the point where you can see where your fundamental resistance lies, the causes of it, the beliefs and concepts behind why this resistance is arising, perhaps even seeing through the concepts and beliefs, seeing that they're not true. And then the resistance and denial weakens. And as it weakens, you might find, well, I can accept this. Something I never thought would be, acceptable. Again, acceptable just means I see it and I allow it to be. There's space for it. Just seeing it and allowing it to be. There's space for it. Not that you can't do anything about it then, because no matter what it is, it's like, well, now if you totally accept it, you've seen it, you've allowed it to be. If there's something you can do about it, If there's something you can do to change going forward, then do it. And in this way, you've now embraced what is or what was, and you're able to move forward. It's a continual moving forward then. It's no longer being stuck. Resistance, denial, makes you stuck to the present and the past. And you're holding on to it while pushing it away. And radical acceptance is just allowing it to be. And if it no longer is, it's allowing it to go away. So if there was some incident and you're still holding on to it, say months or years later, and it's like it should not have been, and it flares up from time to time in life, and or things remind you of it, or it haunts you basically. Delve into it. Why can't you allow it to be? It already was. It's your resistance to it that makes it hang around and makes your misery. That emotional charge, that persisting hanging around and haunting, is caused by your inability to accept it. Your inability to allow it to be and allow it to pass. It is a interesting thing, I think, to delve into this, because like I said, it can be profound and liberating to delve into this to the point where you may find something that was unacceptable is now acceptable. It's like, it's not, I'm not denying it didn't happen. Matter of fact, I'm totally embracing, it happened. And this is how it, changed life or whatever, and without needing to label it good or bad. You don't need to, pick the flower saying that's good and the thorns are bad. No, you accept the entirety of the flower. The petals and thorns together. It's like, yep, that happened. And what can I do about it now? Is there anything I need to do about it? It is a flowing, the attitude of nothing is unacceptable. This radical acceptance is just allowing things to flow as it is, to let it be seen and allowed and flow away. But at times we need to look at what our problem with things are. Why can't we allow it to be? It already is. It's reality. It is. And our resisting and denying of it, our not accepting it to be, is fighting reality. And reality always wins. We'll never win against reality. It is. It was. This cannot be changed. Because it is. It already is. What can be changed when it already is? You can only go, well, this is what I can do to change what is going forward. But it already is. So I need to accept what is as it is first. And that makes a deep touching, a deep listening, a deep getting in touch with what is, which I believe or feel it does make for better actions, better decisions, because you're no longer reacting. You're no longer having this automatic no to what is. Instead, there's this radical acceptance. Yes, it is. What can I do about it now? And so play with it a bit. Ponder it. Nothing is unacceptable. It's only the self. And so whatever you're denying could only be the self. We don't want to admit it. but it's only the self. And so, realizing nothing is unacceptable is just embracing the entirety of the self. It is embracing both the petals and the thorns. Anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. But until next time, thank you much.